Alright folks, it's here, probably the second most anticipated dev diary of them all. Historical Germany, let's go! So first off, I want to apologize, I'm really ill, so if the sound of my voice annoys you, go read the dev diary yourself, got a link down below. Secondly, it'll add a nice little video to this, it will give you all the information you need, but now, let us get into this. I am excited. So from the get-go, it looks like Germany's getting a couple of changes. That is not the portrait I remember, and those are national spirits I don't remember. Now, all of this is work in progress. Work in progress. Icons are going to change, effects are going to change, nothing is set in stone, so let's get that out of the way first. Let's see what we actually get. Okay, basic Germany. I think the political side of things is a little more split than it used to be. Okay. Now this makes a little bit more sense considering, you know, Germany is not all fascism all the time. I'm not sure if the numbers have actually changed. I don't really look at this screen all that much, but let's keep looking at the other stuff. This is the national spirit Germany starts with now, and changes have been made. You'll notice, well, Bitter Loser is the same thing. That's just, they can do factions now. Mifo bills. Mifo bills have been changed. And I won't talk about it all that much in this dev diary. They're gonna move that over to the Germany mechanics dev diary, because Germany is the main character. Germany gets special stuff. Mifo bills is part of that. So, suffice to say, it's been changed, and it's not just a strict buff to Germany. And then we have the Deutsches Heer, the Kriegsmarine, and the Luftwaffe. So Germany will have to sort its stuff out. This looks like a slight nerf to Germany that I suppose you use the focus tree to build back up. Now, they do say most of these are fairly historical. I don't know enough about history to say that Luftwaffe was that much more manpower intense. I do know that anything Göring touched was a mess, so I can see the Luftwaffe being terrible. Now, this is what we're all here for. Now, this doesn't even fit on screen. This is just the Army, Navy, Air Force, industry, and then all the way over here, the historical bath. And this isn't everything. This doesn't even include the alt history stuff. This is just army branches, industry branch, and historical branch. None of the fancy stuff is in here. And this looks like another new mechanic, the inner circle. They don't talk about it much, but I assume it has to do with this section of the focus tree. Yeah, looking at this looks to be where you decide who has the Führer's ear, and then you go around adding people to your inner circle. You got your usual suspects there, with some being mutually exclusive. You'll have to make choices depending on what you value most. Now, I'm entirely certain that there will be people who math it out and give you the best possible combination in any situation, but I like the options this gives you, and it does look interesting. Wunderwaffe. I definitely want to get my hands on the Wunderwaffe. Again, this is not something they're gonna go in depth on in this dev diary. This is just a sneak peek. They're gonna do this in the Germany systems dev diary a bit further down the road. Now for the branches everyone has access to. The usual suspects: Army, Air Force, Navy, industry, and we'll talk about them a little bit more. Speaking of Army, changes have been made. There are different generals. There are less generals available from the start. New ones and old beloved ones will show up as you do certain focuses, as you make choices. For instance, I know for a fact that Werner von Blomberg disappears when you do a certain focus. So does Fritsch, and then others get promoted as the Führer solidifies his hold on the Wehrmacht. Still, this is plenty of generals to work with, even for a 1936 start. You got plenty to work with, don't worry. They haven't stolen anything from you. You'll get plenty of stuff. Which leads us to the actual army tree. It's not massive, but it looks interesting enough. So there are two main paths here. The Prussian Legacy, focused on infantry and artillery. And then the Panzer Doctrine, which is historical Germany. Panzerwaffe. Tanks, and maneuver war. Well, it's always maneuver warfare, but speed. Tanks and speed, while the Prussian Legacy is infantry, artillery, and both of them focus on maneuver warfare. As you take the side you want, you unlock different bonuses. The special thing the Prussian Legacy gets is stormtroopers. The special thing the Panzer Doctrine gets is, I would assume, Kummersdorf leads to something, special project, maybe? Advanced Panzer Research? Anyway, they differ in the kind of units they use. The overall strength of Germany doesn't really change. And then looking at that Prussian Legacy, this is very much focused on grand battle. Grand battle plan, yes, and it adds something called operational planning. Now, this is new. This is a new mechanic, sort of, for Germany. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it is pretty interesting way of buffing Germany for its historical victories that were not really meant to happen, but could happen because the Allies were that incompetent, without making Germany so powerful they can steamroll everyone. Let's take a look at that operational planning. So, these are decisions that influence the terrain they'll be fighting. They can do the campaign against France, Belgium, Poland, for instance, and it gives you a series of buffs specifically for the terrain of that country, so only on the tiles that country controls, and for a set amount of time. This is to simulate Germany's extensive battle planning and just the fact that they were so successful even though they shouldn't have been. The campaign against France and Belgium was a massive success that should never have happened if the Allies were even the slightest bit competent. And this is their way of simulating that without making Germany completely broken and super overpowered where nothing can ever stop them. Or by wrecking France even harder than it already is. Now the bonus here, Bewegungskrieg, has to be built up. How do I explain this? So these decisions trigger this effect. Plus signs here. All these bonuses don't come right away. If you just unlock the mechanic and press the button day one without doing any of the other focuses, you're stuck with a very, let's say it would only give you artillery attack +5. Like you see here. This is where you unlock the mechanic and it only adds infantry division attack +5%. That's what you start with. You have to build this up through the focus tree and eventually you come up with this, which is a massive buff to your army. So you're gonna need to work your way through the tree to get the full benefit of this operational planning. Another fancy thing that the Prussian side of the tree gets, when you play your infantry game, you have access to Stormtroopers, Sturmtrupperbataillon. Another support company, I guess? Looks like just really good infantry to support your already really good infantry. Alright, cool. Now, of course, operational planning is also a thing if you use tanks, and this would be the armored variant if you've gone with the Panzerwaffe. This is a much shorter bonus, 45 days instead of 90 days, but they are more tailored to tanks, and assuming you're using tanks, you're going to need less time to make use of your bonus. You're faster. Everything you do is faster. And to be able to get the two most well-known German generals, you're going to have to go with a Panzerwaffe. This will get you Rommel and Guderian. So if you want Rommel and Guderian, you're gonna have to go Panzer Doctrine, which is a little odd. I believe Rommel was an infantry leader. He was an infantry commander in World War I, so I would assume if you don't go with the Armor Doctrine, he'd still be leading an infantry unit, unless I'm stupid and I'm missing something. So looking at this, both sides can be quite powerful. Now, I'm naturally inclined towards tanks, because obviously tanks are way cooler, but if you want to play an infantry game, that will certainly work. Like, the left side is Prussian Legacy, right side is Panzers, and yeah, both are good. Both are good. We, of course, have the Air Force, or as they say, the Chair Force. Unfortunately, this is led by Göring, which has negative consequences, but this is where you build up your Air Force, and there have to be some choices. Historically, Germany never did strategic bombing or tactical bombing much. They were very all-in on dive bombers, close air support, and they did that well with the Ju-87. The main proponent of Germany's strategic bombing doctrine died very early on. I believe he died in the like late 30s before any war started, and there was nobody really there to press the idea. As a result, that part of the German Air Force kinda petered out and died before it ever really got off the ground. But in this case, you can do that. You can go with the Ural bomber program, long-range strategic bombing, or tactical bombers, which could be mathematically the best choice. Now, my heart is with the Ju-87. I will have my Stukas, but you can choose. And it's always nice to be able to choose. And what I already like is a little bit further down here. If you want to fix the issues that plague the Luftwaffe, you must reorganize the Luftwaffe and solve the logistical bottlenecks. But you can't do that while Göring is in charge. This man ruins everything he touches. Why is he still here? Again, it is my personal ambition to fire Göring from a cannon at London. That's the only reason I'll build that V3 London gun, just to stuff Göring into it so I can shoot him. out of Germany. Anyway, speaking of the fat man, you're gonna have to probably make a choice. Keep Göring and his reasonably good buffs to both industry and air. Well, industry in that he makes airplanes cheaper. So do I keep him around at the expense of not being able to unlock the full potential of my Air Force national spirit? That is probably going to be the choice to make. It's not a choice at all. I will get rid of this man the second I have the opportunity. Hell, I would mod him out of the game if it would help. I absolutely hate this fat idiot. Sorry, I got a little heated. And this is what the Luftwaffe could be. It's not absolutely overpowered, but it's better than a bunch of negatives. Yeah, it's good. It's decent. And then the Navy. The Navy is a little bit special. Okay, there's historical paths, trade interdiction, and your submarines. But you'll notice there's not a lot of mutually exclusive stuff here. They're taking the approach with this specific branch that I believe the Polish resistance or the Polish planning branch has. That is to say, if you take trade interdiction first, you get locked out of Plan Z and the rest of the tree until you get down to unrestricted convoy rating. So once you commit to a branch, you have to finish the branch before the other branches open up. Once you've done the final focus in a branch, two things happen. You can then do the other branches, but any sub-branch of that thing that you didn't take yet, so see, you rushed down and skipped one of these focuses, that focus will then get locked. So it's really a matter of, do I take the time to get everything possible out of the branch at the expense of not being able to get the other branches? Do I get the stuff I need and hurry up so I can get more stuff from other branches? Kinda... the tree is small enough that it's not a massive issue. Okay, so this is not a massive tree. It's small enough that it's probably going to work out, and I'm very certain people are going to math out the most optimal path to take. Just don't like getting locked out of things artificially. I just don't like that. Having said that, I do love the options the tree appears to be giving us. Aircraft carriers for Germany, the High Seas Fleet, Panzerschiffs, the Marine Stoßtrupp. It looks like Germany has the option to play a proper naval game once this thing hits. So I am looking forward to, Plan Z. Such an unfeasible idea, but glorious nonetheless. Yeah, I think Germany actually will have a feasible path for a naval game, if that is your thing. And I am here for it. And looking at this, if you go through the tree and you go gobble up all those bonuses, you can have a really strong Kriegsmarine or a Seeherrschaft. I'm not really sure what both of these mean, but green number are good. Yes, more bigger green number is gooder. And on the topic of national spirits, Wunderwaffe. Apparently, Germany is going to be the main focal point of all these hilarious special projects, and they have the option of getting the national spirit Wunderwaffe. I think this ties into... I saw it. I saw that in the inner circle. Yeah, over here. Wunderwaffe. If you've chosen either Tod or Speer, you get down here to Wunderwaffe. I would assume this unlocks the national spirit. And with that national spirit, it does appear that you will have a reasonable boost to all of your projects, allowing Germany to be insane if it wants to. I'm definitely going to be using these projects, even if they're entirely resource inefficient. I want my hilariously broken gigantic tanks. My rockets, my ICBMs, I want the insanity. And then industry. So industry is going to go two different paths. Historically, 4-year plan. This is a little complicated, but in most basic terms, again, if you want the full details, read the dev diary. But in its most basic terms, left side, prioritize economic growth. The idea is to break down the German economy and build it back up more powerful, more stable into something that can actually sustain itself. It will be slower, but the end result will be stronger. The 4-year plan, the historical path, focuses on autarky, the ability to be self-sufficient, and 2, rapid growth, rapid rearmament at the expense that it's entirely unsustainable on its own. And the 4-year plan path, the historical path, relies on what is essentially a rapine economy. You must conquer and use the resources you've conquered to fuel your economy, because if the engine is no longer fed with fresh conquest, it peters out, it cannot stand on its own. While if you prioritize economic growth, you build your own strong economy that can run on its own. It will just take longer, and you will have to take a period of pain at the start that you will need to climb out of. People are gonna do the math and they'll find out which is the best. Greatly appreciate that they've taken the time to add the option. Now, I know why it's there. Now, the economic stability path is there if you're playing one of the non-historical Germanys that is not purely hell-bent on extreme conquest, because if you only have the option of making an unstable economy that needs conquest and you're playing a semi-peaceful democratic Germany, you're fucked. I need to see the numbers. I need to have that spreadsheet work done to know which is better. But let's see what the end result of both paths could be. So this is what you end up with at the stability side. So there's the Wirtschaftswunder. And then the economy of conquest is like the unstable growth path. And it looks like numbers are fairly similar. Oh, Wirtschaftswunder is more powerful. Economy of conquests, look at the negative. You need more consumer goods every month, and that scales up as you conquer more non-core territory. This is going to give you an economy that will eventually collapse. I don't see a path in which economy of conquest is ever sustainable. You constantly have to conquer more countries or risk losing everything. Yeah, that's gonna be wild. I want to see how they handle that in their mechanics section, but I don't want to do this now. Just seeing this already gives me anxiety, because eventually you're gonna take up to 100% consumer goods penalty, meaning you have no civs available for anything, and because you hit that number, you get additional penalties. So I think this is this better be really powerful really quickly so you actually get some use out of this, because I'm not sure I want this. Also, going with the 4-year plan leads to autarky. It used to be a focus. I think it gave you some oil, synthetics, or some rubber, whatever. I forget. It gave you stuff. Now it's changed. It's going to give you a construction speed buff and allow you to trade with future and current faction members cheaper. Fine. What it also does is lock you out of free trade and export focus, and giving you the trade law autarky, which I'm going to assume is like a slightly changed version of limited exports, I think. And the same thing happens with Totaler Krieg. So instead of going up to total mobilization, you go up to Totaler Krieg, which is a slightly better version of total mobilization. You'll have access to slightly better laws. Does that justify your entire economy depending on conquest, though? And this is prioritizing economic growth. It really focuses on you taking a massive hit to stability, party popularity. You get rid of the MIFO bills and everything they gave you, but you try to build back better. But to do that, you have to go through the pain first. So you're going to be hit with recovering economy and then building it back up into what is the Wirtschaftswunder. Fun little fact, this is based on Germany's, or rather West Germany's, very quick economic recovery post World War II. Not just Marshall Plan, but the German economy was just handled very well by the people in charge. One person in particular, but I keep forgetting his name. But yes, this is based on Germany's historical rebound after World War II. Anyway, I don't see a world in which economy of conquest is sustainable. I don't think it's meant to be sustainable. So I think this is really meant to blitz your way through a campaign and then declare yourself the winner. It's done. And now what we all want, political branches. Oh, this is massive. This is huge. Huge, like China. Now, one thing to note, icons. So a lot of these things have like the little flag icons next to the focuses. This is just an easy visual reminder of what the historical focuses are. Yes, there is a filter to filter out the historical paths. A lot of people don't even know about the filter. This is just an easy, noob-friendly way of finding out the historical focuses to take. And they're doing it with Germany because Germany is the main character. It's going to be the first country a lot of people who just get the game try, and it helps, or rather it's supposed to help. Don't worry if you absolutely hate this. I wouldn't know why, but if you absolutely hate this, there's just one button and you can turn it off. See, you just click button and then flags are gone. If you're that kind of person, they got you covered. Far East Branch. You now get to choose between a China path and a Japan path. Now, historically, Japan was the choice, but before Germany committed to supporting and aiding Japan, they provided a whole lot of military aid to China, to nationalist China. Entire divisions of nationalist Chinese troops were equipped with German equipment, had German trainers, followed German doctrine. And this path, alt history-ish, allows you to retake or reclaim Qingdao, have the Chinese sign it over to you. It will allow you to claim your old colonies in the east. So I believe the Solomon Islands were German colonies. The archipelago above Australia, I keep forgetting what its name is. Papua New Guinea? That place? I think was a German colony, and other smaller islands in the region, and leading down to, I guess, some sort of faction maybe with Chiang Kai-shek. Ooh, you can also create Asian Reichskommissariats. I like that. I like that. So yeah, this also allows you to reclaim former African colonies, but this is not tied to any one thing, leading to Mittelafrika. Okay, and then we have befriend Japan. This is the historical path. It leads you to naval cooperation. Japan will be your Pacific friend. It will allow you to negotiate over some colonies. So claims on the old colonies, I assume, is war goals and the ability to go take it. Negotiating for the colonies would rely on Japan controlling the stuff and being willing to sign it over. I believe Japan did control several formerly German islands. They might sign those over, and then you'll have to figure out a way to get the rest from the allies. I will have to get my hands on this to see what it actually does. And that leads to Blitzkrieg across the Pacific. Hilarious. I'm here for it. So yeah, it's not just a non-choice. It actually is going to matter who you decide to back. And there might be great benefit in backing Chiang Kai-shek and getting access to that massive amount of Chinese manpower that you can provide with equipment through your strong German economy. And then there is the question of other countries as well. War with the USSR or an alliance with the USSR. How are we going to handle Turkey? How are we going to handle the Middle East? These are all here. We are able to support Finland if we choose to do the anti-Soviet pact. There's a difference between the anti-Comintern pact and the anti-Soviet pact. So I guess this turns it into more of a formalized thing. And the Molotov-Ribbentrop pact leads to a potential alliance with the USSR. So historically, you go down halfway until you get the treaty with the USSR for the bonuses. And then you switch back over to go into war with the USSR. Well, let's see what we can get here. And I do like how they handle alliance with the USSR. So no longer do you just form one mega faction that either doesn't work or means you'll never have to fight the Soviets. In this case, because it was extremely unlikely that an alliance between fascist Germany and Communist Soviet Union would ever last any length of time. This creates a faction that will automatically dissolve after 730 days. Basically gets the Germans and Soviets time to build up stronger for the inevitable clash. So this is going to give you the Unholy Alliance. You get the Soviet-German Friendship Treaty. And when that, takes out after 730 days, faction is simply dismantled automatically. I don't know how good this is going to be, mostly because we're going to take a loss of stability. Other fascists are going to hate us. Democracies are going to hate us. And it's a temporary alliance. I don't see the immediate benefit in this other than the meme, but it's an interesting approach towards factions. One of the first things we'll have to choose is either reorganizing the Wehrmacht, bringing everything under direct control of the Führer, stamping out all resistance and autonomy. The historical path, this is what's going to lead you to the non-aggression pact with the Soviets as well. This is where Joachim von Ribbentrop is your foreign diplomacy guy, the man who got Stalin to sign a worthless piece of paper. On the other side, we have von Neurath, a more sensible approach to diplomacy, a more sensible approach to preparing the army. This man saw that the Wehrmacht was not nearly ready for any kind of massive war, and this side's going to rely more on trying to placate people, make friends where we can, enemies where we must, and at the same time, take the time to build up the army, while the Ribbentrop side is, it's ours now, we're gonna take it, we're gonna go balls to the wall, doesn't matter if we're ready, we'll see what happens, basically. So you can see the differences here. The political advisors themselves don't matter that much. It's just the extra stuff that they might get or what might be removed. For instance, if you get the historical path with Ribbentrop, you lose von Fritsch, you lose von Blomberg. They were railroaded out of the army on trumped-up charges. These men were military high command that were insistent on being at least nominally independent, and of course they had to go. Hitler wanted full and total control, laid out here by having him get really cheap army advisors, while on the other hand, if you go with von Neurath and you keep those men around, he doesn't get as much of a buff. It's not a massive change, but it is a change. We even get a specific sub-branch for the age-old German tradition of just bribing the senior officers. You know, I could have them all shot, but I might need them. Still need them to be loyal. I'll just bribe them. Okay then. I'm sure this will have no negative consequences whatsoever. I can't see this go wrong in any way, shape, or form. There is also now going to be a system for SS recruitment. Controversial, not sure how Germany is going to handle that, but there will be an option for SS recruitment, giving you militia. I guess they're going to be like black shirt militias for Italy, because, I mean, aside from a very select handful of units, the SS wasn't that good. I mean, they were not the elite superhuman super soldiers. They got better equipment, but training for the most part, bit ass. It was more about, are you loyal, and not so much, are you competent? And for a selection of advisors, I see some names here that I like to see. Leni Riefenstahl, the film director. We see Heydrich here, the man, the myth, the legend, the arthropod. Many different options. Germany is going to get some fun little things to play with. Von Blomberg, Erich von Manstein. Okay. Military high command options. I don't think Germany is going to be lacking in options, honestly. Oh, and MIO. So Germany is actually going to get a little update to their MIOs. A specific assault gun manufacturer. Cool. New logo for Daimler-Benz, I think. New Navy MIOs, so I don't recognize HDW. And then Messerschmitt, Junkers, Focke-Wulf, Dornier. Oh, new stuff as well. Fieseler and Arado. Ooh, a helicopter designer. Ooh, Germany's gonna get a helicopter designer. Yes. Yeah, so a lot of new stuff, and I recognize these names from history books. That's cool. Oh, new industrial concern, so it's no longer just IG Farben, Krupp, and Siemens. I hate Deutsche Bahn. They can never get anything right, it feels. On stream, somebody said the other day the reason why all 85 million Germans are known to be very punctual, correct people is because they have to offset the entire insanity that is Deutsche Bahn. Well, I hope they'll not just be a bad negative modifier then. So a lot of fresh stuff to play with. I am here for it. New 3D models. That is the Leichttraktor. Yeah, the tank that wasn't really a tank. Trust us, guys. This is a tractor for farming. Why do I need the gun? Don't question it. Anyway, with these last few models, I'll leave this video. If you enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comments. I want to know what you guys think about what is coming with Germany. Also, if you're looking to buy this, I have a link down below as well that will lead to the Paradox store, where you can buy a Steam key for the same price as Steam, just direct from Paradox, and I get a commission on the sale if you want to support the channel. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope to see you for the next one. Goodbye.